Good evening, non-existent viewers. I am here tonight to review the movie Pearl, which is the prequel to the awaited but not so long awaited prequel to X, the slasher film written and directed once again by Ty West, starring Mia Goth, as it centers around Pearl, the villain in the film X. And it's set in 1918. It's during World War One and the Spanish flu, and Pearl lives on his farm with her paralyzed father and her very strict and ridiculously overbearing mother and her husband Howard being away with the war. And it follows her how she wants to break free from this rural lifestyle and go be a dancer and be a star. And of course she has to fight an uphill battle to achieve it. We see her descend into madness and insanity and the monster that she turns into X. Now, I said awaited but not longly awaited because I have never seen a prequel or a sequel of any kind for a film made so quickly after the release of the first film. I had a really good time with X back in, I believe it was released back in February or March. Man, think back to life back in February or March, and it's it seems like I can't tell if it's gone by, this year has gone by really slow or really fast. But yeah, I was very optimistic walking into Pearl, especially with Mia Goth returning to play as Pearl. I honestly, guys, I had no idea that Mia Goth played two separate characters in the film X. I thought she just played Maxine, the lead actress in that film, but no, she plays Maxine and the crazy old lady herself, Pearl. Seriously, give that movie an Oscar for makeup and hairstyling already. She was unrecognizable as Pearl in that movie. And once again, Mia Goth as the titular Pearl is just the best part about this entire film. This may or may not be in terms of villain origin story performances, Mia Goth is up there with Joaquin Phoenix as Joker from 2019, and I'm not saying that lightly. She is so unnerving, and you sympathize with her because this is not an easy thing for films to pull off with characters who that with prequels that she's gonna turn into this bad guy by the end of the film, but they establish that in a way where you feel really bad for her and you see the life that she lives. And I think we all can relate to her to varying degrees of wanting to break free from the small life that you were raised with and move on to bigger and better things. And there's one scene in the middle of the film in particular where she gets to this really heated fight with her mother, and it's you guys thought the scene in Hereditary where Toni Collette and her son in that movie were just screaming at each other at the dinner table? Yeah, this scene is that times 3. Not to mention, this film is set in 1918 in the middle of Spanish flu pandemic. Guys, if you thought 2020 was difficult with corona and lockdowns and mask mandates, try living during a pandemic in the late 1910s with a world war going on. That's the world that Pearl grew up in, and you can see why it shapes her in doing what she is, what she becomes. We know her as an X. Again, you don't condone her actions. You don't condone the crazy stuff that's going on that she does, the atrocities that she commits throughout the film, but you understand where she's coming from. And Ty West's direction, once again, just like how an X's cinematography is flawless, and it's bright and it's colorful, and you can this horror film can get under your skin and creep you out and make you uncomfortable and make you feel oh, it's scary, without a very dark atmosphere. It's not set underground. It's not set in a cave. Not too much of the film where the scary stuff happens at nighttime. Most of it is in broad daylight, which I thought was brilliant. I also like how Ty West, as a writer and as a director, he's jumping around different movies with these X films. I guess, X was set in the 70s, this set in 1918, and the sequel, which stick around for the credits because you do get a little sneak peek at the third film in this franchise of Will, called Maxine. That's going to be set in 1985, and I'm pretty excited for that whenever that's coming around. I also gotta say, this film is an hour and 42 minutes. It feels a lot more bite-sized than it actually is, which I think simultaneously worked in Pearl's favor, and also not so much in its favor. The film ends, I thought the ending was very effective. Again, you leave the theater just thinking oh my gosh, that ending was so creepy. Again, without spoiling it, it was very creepy. But at the same time, the movie just ends very abruptly, and I feel for an origin story for this villain that we were already established in the last film, I feel there's some unanswered questions that we should have gotten an answer to. Maybe that's just me. If you guys are satisfied, for those of you who've seen this film, if you're satisfied with the ending, let me know in the comments down below. Yeah, I gotta say, Ty West, as a director and as a writer, he is 2 for 2 with like the A24 horror movies this year, and A24 has just been a very busy studio this entire year. And I said this before, like in my last movie review for Barbarian, and I'll say it again here, like studios are just pumping out lots of horror movies, this year more than usual from what I've noticed. I'm kind of determined to see as many as I can, and I gotta say, Pearl is a very worthy entry in that lineup of horror films we received in the past few months. I gotta give it an 8 out of 10 stars. It's a really likable film. So, Pearl, have you seen it? What did you think about it? And do you believe it is better or worse than its predecessor, X? Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know if you're excited for Maxine like I am. Subscribe to my channel, please. My name is TB9, and I need to go to sleep if I can, because, how can you sleep after a horror movie like this? Stay beastly.